Garcia, along with
dark trees shadowing what's happening.
Phil. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing terrific. Just dealing with, you know the thing about being home a lot is you find out you have more problems with your house than you realized before. Just things start to happen to your house because we're using it more. We're using everything more.
Yep.
So I had some folks over working on the air conditioner, which we hadn't used up until this week because it got really warm out here, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so we got that. So if you hear some
hate this time of year, and also hate when it first gets cold too, because air conditioners break and heaters break. All
right, and you don't know it till you have to start using them sometimes. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Fun. So it's broken.
Real estate is that simple. So I feel the cold air coming out. By the way, we want to remind everybody this is Phil and I are doing another home show, which is par for the course for lots of folks out there who are working from their homes, and so we're doing the home show, and I can tell you. Firsthand that the air is now working because I can feel it as I'm locked away. They throw me in the cellar here at the Garcia shack. Now, I know at the Nordella compound over there.
Yeah. Our moat is in, by the way. The moat is completed.
They finished the moat? When did the alligators get here?
That's not for a couple of weeks. Ever since this Tiger King thing, it's hard to actually transport alligators now.
I get it.
It's upsetting, I'll be honest. But, Hey, I wanted to give a quick shout-out. Is that all right? I want to give a quick shout-out to John and Tina Gedney. John and Tina Gedney, they're close friends, and I'm not just giving a shout-out to John because he's a member of Satakoy Country Club, and I love that. I love to play golf there. It has nothing to do with that.
No, I wouldn't believe that for a minute.
Truly wonderful people. And anyway, hi, guys, and thanks for actually listening. By the way, did you know they actually had to download the app because they live out in Satakoy? They live in Somas, actually. And they did. They downloaded the KHTS app.
It's a free app you can listen to us anywhere in the world, including Somas. And so hello, John and Tina Gedney. John, by the way, probably the world's fastest golfer.
Yeah, he'll golf in 2 hours and 10 minutes.
And that's 36 holes.
And that's walking it too.
And that's walking it
backwards.
Yes. So, Phil, what do you say Patrick, are you ready? What do you say we look at some numbers, Phil?
SCV, by the numbers.
Yay! We did it! We did it!
You're welcome.
Great job, Patrick.
Although Patrick got it right, but Phil was talking all over it. That's okay.
Come on,
get it right
Phil. I got it right this time, man.
I'm allowed. Well, I'm sorry. I was just I was a little shocked, and so I jumped the gun there. Okay, hey, real estate by the numbers, real quick. We have... Now, I've been doing this 7 days back, okay? So 3 weeks back when it came to active listings, and you're thinking, okay, and I'm going to be doing all of this when it comes to the State of the Union on the after the second break of real estate in Santa Clarita. However, I've been doing 7 days every 7 days. So if we go back 3 weeks, we had 381 listings, okay? Now we have actually 407 listings, which has gone up, okay? So we went from 381 to 399 to 407. We just keep going up when it comes to listings. So let's just talk about sales, okay? Active under contracts and pending. 3 weeks ago, we had 28. 2 weeks ago, we had 42. And this last 7 days, we have 64. We're doing more business now than we did last year at this time.
What do you attribute that to?
Well, again, I'm going to go over that in the State of the Union, but I attribute that to a lot of people are getting smart and they're saying, look, if I'm going to sell, I need to sell now. It looks like everybody's actually, going and staying safe when it comes to the CDC and the CAR guidelines. And also they're concerned when it comes to lending. If they're trying to make sure that their lender approves them and they close the actual deal before they change their mind or before they get furloughed. So that's one of those things. Yeah.
And you did mention that a little bit later on in the show you're going to do the State of the Union in real estate. And,
I'm going to go over all of that and go into it in depth to give the buyers and sellers an idea of what they should be doing. So let's talk about loans. Conforming loans, which is interesting. Last week under 510,000. They were at 3.25 with no points. The same, no difference. It's exactly the same. High balance loans between 510 and 765 were 399 with a half a point. They actually decreased to 3.875, but increased to 1 point. So that's kind of a shell game. It's pretty much the same thing. Jumbo loans, guess what? Still no jumbos. So anything over 765,000, they're still temporarily suspended. It's hard to get a loan there.
That's interesting.
Which means it's going to make it a little bit harder for you to sell the house that's going to be over, up in excess of $1 million. Because if they're putting 20% down, that's an $800,000 loan, and it will not qualify for a jumbo loan.
Well, here's my question on that: is hard money still available then for in a case like that?
Hard money, maybe for the rest of it, but hard money loans, on average, you're looking at probably, and I don't know, and that's a great question for Marla Ferris at Augusta Financial for next week. Hard money loans are just, they're tough. I mean, you're talking sometimes
expensive.
10 to 12 points up front, and then you're also looking at 9-10% interest rates. So that's tough. So now FHA and VA last week, under up to 510,000, we're at 3.5 with a half a point, but they dropped, which is awesome, down to 3.125 to 3.375 with no points. So that was good. And the FHA loans over 510, they have a minimum of 2 to 3 point cost, no matter how high or how low the loan is, and that was the way it was last week. And now it's up to 3.75 with 3 points, and 3 points up front is high. It's very high for a loan, because usually, you're always talking about getting a loan, and it's usually no points. No points, no fees. No points, no fees. That's what you hear all the time on TV, and so that's not the case anymore. You can look at 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 points on a loan,
which add up to about. I think you usually say it's about a 1% of the loan per every point. Is that? Yep,
1 point is 1% of the actual loan amount.
Okay.
Yeah. So, interesting.
All right. That's it for the numbers, sir?
By the numbers, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we'd like to introduce our first guest on the show today. He's Dr. Jeff Nordella. He is a primary care physician with over 30 years' experience as a clinician. We've been talking to Dr. Jeff off and on about what's going on regarding the coronavirus. And welcome to the show, Dr. Jeff. Apparently, I guess we have an antibody test now, and we're hoping you can shed some light on how that works and who can get tested for that.
Sure. Good morning. Yes, the antibody test is done by the major labs now, and it is a blood draw. The insurance so far is not, from my understanding, not reimbursing for that, so the patient will have to pay for it, but it's just two tests. One is called an IgM, and the other is an IgG. And the big questions with this is the IgM, when you first get infected, you will have a rise in the IgM, usually on average anywhere between 3 and 5 days. That'll last maybe 2 to 3 weeks and then drops off. The IgM then mounts a response about 2 to 3 days after the IgM, and it will stay up. And really no one knows exactly how long that will stay positive for. The big question with all of these tests right now is that IgG molecule. Is that going to allow you to be protected for future infections? So A, we don't know, how long it will last. And then B, is it really going to protect or give immunity to the virus?
So let me ask you a question to better understand this. So I feel like maybe I had the virus. So I go in and check, and I do my checking, and they do the nasal swabs, and they come back and they say, you don't have it now. And I can go then to take another step and say, okay, I want to do the antibody test, and I do the antibody test, and they say, yes, believe it or not, you've actually built up the antibodies, which would that mean that I had it before, but I didn't have it when I actually took the nasal swab test? Is that what that means?
Correct. So that would be, again, that you are not necessarily immune. It would just be an indication that you had been exposed and you mounted this antibody attack. But again, until the literature comes in and data comes in, we won't know if that particular molecule. Now, I think it is going to offer something, because what they're doing is with the patients that have been exposed and have been sick and do have this IgG molecule, they're taking the serum purifying it, and then re-injecting it into the sick. And at least the initial results so far have been somewhat positive.
Dr. Jeff Nordella is on the show with Rick Garcia and Phil Nordella. He is a primary care physician with over 30 years experience. And, well, Dr. Jeff, there's talk of a possible second wave in the fall, and that it would possibly coincide with the flu, so it could be a double whammy. What can people do to get ready for this particular flu season? This one's going to be particularly difficult if we have two different things going on.
Well, that's a great question. So looking at implementing a COVID health risk assessment program through telehealth, what this will be is while people are at home, let's spend the time potentially trying to make our health better. So if, unfortunately, you do get either the influenza and or the COVID, that you will fare better with less severity of the infection. So we're looking at parameters, mainly blood, that will be general health parameters, and also inflammatory parameters within the blood, and then do a 1-hour consultation with patients to try and get them in better health while they're at home, while we wait for this, hopefully not a tsunami, but we hope for the second wave coming in.
Yeah, because it's going to get interesting, to say the least. But what you're saying, obviously, is you can help people align themselves to best fight this if for some reason that they're at risk. You can take away a little bit of the risk or some of the risk, maybe, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, most diseases express themselves through an inflammatory reaction within the body, and if we have these markers that we can pre-identify, can we correct those prior to the potential, virus hitting that particular patient? We could potentially, in theory, have them do better and not, unfortunately, end up on a ventilator.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Phil. No, go ahead, Phil.
Okay. So, what's the actual steps? Let's say I was interested in that. I was saying, it's possible. I've got some conditions, and I'd like to really align myself to best fight this thing. So what is the step? They get a hold of you, and then what happens? How do they get a hold of you, and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you. Two things. One is Facebook through Dr. Jeffrey Nordella. You can go on it. We'll be announcing it and how they exactly go through the steps. It will be on the website, and all the information's from step 1, 2, and 3. But basically, a patient will sign up for the program. They will go to the lab. They will have the labs drawn. Within 5 days, they make an appointment. We sit down and go through a consultation and go through every one of the labs and what they can do to correct and again, get better, especially on paper. And as well, this will make them hopefully feel better in everyday life.
Let me just get in one more question for you, Dr. Jeff. All this talk, and that's kind of what you and Phil are talking about right now, is telehealth. And how this is really sounds like the wave of the future, and I can guarantee you, when we get it figured out to where it's hitting on all cylinders, and when I say we, I mean the entire healthcare system, that's going to be a great way to be able to interface with your doctor. So if I understand this correctly, I call up my doctor, Dr. Jeff, or I make an appointment with my doctor, Dr. Jeff, to have a regular checkup. We're going to do that, I guess, via computer or Zoom or FaceTime, and you and I are going to have conversations about what's going on with me, and you'll do as much as you can to help me over the phone before I necessarily need to come in, or maybe you send me in another direction, whether it be for labs or something else. Is that pretty much how telehealth is going to work? It's having a doctor's appointment virtually.
Correct. That's exactly what it is. And yes, so if we need labs or X-ray, CT scan, you can be sent to an imaging center. Orders, your pharmacy prescriptions will be electronically sent into the pharmacy. So you just, again, go to the pharmacy. It has a lot of advantages and it has some disadvantages. But the advantages is that basically you can do it from your home. You're not exposed. Travel time, wait time, all of those issues. It does have some limitations, but IT is coming alongside this, which is offering all kinds of issues, such as doing an EKG from fingertip and other studies that can be done, and I'm sure will be done, like looking at throat, the ears, the eyes, so forth, even even to auscultate a heart, it'll be generated. So those companies, I think, are working very hard to bring this along. So yes, I think there'll be a huge advantage, and I do think it'll be the wave of the future.
Isn't that neat, Phil? That's the way we'll be. That's the way we'll be diagnosed in the future is virtually. Well, thank you, Dr. Jeff. We appreciate it. One more time, would you tell everybody how they can get in touch with you if they have any further medical questions?
Yeah, so you just go to the website, which is jnordellamdinc.com, and all the instructions will be there on how you can sign up. I would encourage you, if you plan on utilizing the program, you go ahead and register so we can get the basic information going. And then we will be in touch with everybody and announce where to go and how to do it and how to exercise the program.
Awesome. Also, we appreciate the fact that this is your 5th show that you've done for us, and we really appreciate it. Sorry because we know you're busy. But
you got people to see,
exciting. Yeah, exactly right.
Excellent.
We appreciate
more than happy to help.
Awesome. Well, you'll be back.
We're going to punch your card. He's going to be part of the rewards program pretty soon.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And what that means is we'll double your pay for the next time. All right,
Dr.
You guys
Jeff Nordella. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jeff. We appreciate that. Okay, coming up on Real Estate, it's that simple. By the way, that was your coronavirus update there from Dr. Jeff. Now we're going to get back into real estate in this next segment coming up. Some of you are considering possibly pausing your mortgage payments, or perhaps you're a little concerned about evictions and how the moratorium works. So we've got an expert who's going to join us, and we're also going to go over some of the latest real estate guidelines and restrictions where coronavirus is concerned. Stay with us. Real Estate, it's that simple. Rick Garcia with Phil Nordella.
Yay.
If you're thinking of selling your home, have Phil Nordella come out and give you a free, no obligation property valuation. Just call 661-312-3561. It's that simple.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Marla Ferris at Augusta Financial is the consummate mortgage professional, committed to helping you turn your dream of homeownership into reality. With more than 22 years in the finance mortgage industry, Marla brings extensive experience and top knowledge to help make your loan experience hassle-free. Given her honesty, integrity, and attention to detail, she is the loan officer you can trust. Marla knows what it takes to get you the best loan, the best rate, and the best service in the industry. You'll find Marla Ferris at Marla, FERRIS.com.
Genghis Khan Mongolian Barbecue and Chinese Buffet. Healthy vegetables and lean meats. A low-carb treat. Create your own bowls with our delicious meats and always fresh vegetables. Then, blend in your own secret sauce. Feast at the all-you-can-eat buffet and barbecue for the same low price. A local favorite for over 25 years, Genghis Khan is still located on Lyons Avenue just east of the I-5. Enter between the Chevron and Shell gas stations. Come and see us soon at Genghis Khan.
Hi, son. Can you help me back up this truck into the Dutton Plumbing warehouse?
Hold it. Turn off the truck. What's going on?
Well, I was watching the news.
Uh-oh.
And I heard we should stock up on supplies. So I just bought a whole truckload of toilet paper for us.
Mom, we don't need this much toilet paper. This receipt says 100 cases. We'll never use that much.
I think we will. When the Senior Ladies Club goes out for Taco Tuesdays, and they can really tear it up.
Now I can't unsee that. How about if we just share all the toilet paper with our customers?
Maybe something like call now and get a roll of Dutton Plumbing toilet paper for just $73.
Maybe that would work better if we threw in a free drain clearing, Mom?
DuttonPlumbing.com. Get a roll of toilet paper for just $73 plus a free drain clearing. It flows or it's free with a money-back guarantee. Go to DuttonPlumbing.com.
Mold contamination is a growing concern for all of us, especially in our homes. Golden State Mold Inspections is Santa Clarita's leading mold inspectors. Be sure to protect yourself and your family with a professional mold inspector. Golden State Mold Inspections can identify mold problems and future mold challenges. Call the mold professionals. Golden State Mold Inspections. Visit their website for details. GoldenStateMoldInspections.com. That's GoldenStateMoldInspections.com.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
Town Cleaners on Soledad is offering free dry cleaning for all first responders and medical personnel. Free pickup and delivery is also available. Call Mo at 250-1542. 250-1542. Town Cleaners on Soledad.
Let's talk about insurance. Are your rates skyrocketing year after year? Or do you feel like you would benefit from a professional advisor that works for you? Give the great team at Voy Insurance Solutions a call. Voy works with dozens of the best insurance companies to help you obtain competitive rates and comprehensive coverage. Homeowners, auto, business, and life insurance. Voy Insurance. Right price, right coverage, right now. Mention the Phil Nordella Show and get a free $10 Starbucks card. Visit voyinsurance.com. That's VOI insurance.com. Castle Inspection is the top choice for home inspection in Santa Clarita. With over 20 years experience, make Castle Inspection your choice when buying your new condominium or home. From mobile homes to mansions, the outhouse to the penthouse, your best bet is a net from Castle Inspection. An inspection is a fair and objective evaluation of the home's physical and mechanical systems. Expert knowledge, thorough research, and clear communication are what sets a net at Castle above the rest. Schedule your appointment online now at castleinspection.com.
Welcome back to Real Estate It's That Simple. I'm Rick Garcia, along with Realtor Extraordinaire Phil Nordella, who's... we're going to get into some of the Corona guidelines here in a second. We want to also welcome to the show our next guest. Taylor Williams is a partner at Donahoe & Young. She specializes in real estate law, business litigation, and estate planning, and she's also the president of the Santa Clarita Valley Bar Association. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, quite the intro. Thank you.
You're welcome. Listen, I want to go over some guidelines for both of you guys, and I'll go through each bullet point. Where there are about 7 guidelines here that I'm going to go ahead and go through each one of them, and then afterwards you guys can give us your thoughts on these. But the Corona guidelines is specified by the California Association of Realtors and the Southern the region as well, the local version of that. And by the way, Santa Clarita is following LA County guidelines. So if you're a buyer, seller, or a realtor, here's basically what the guidelines look like. No open houses at all. I think that pretty much goes without saying. Residential viewings must occur virtually.
Well, hang on a second. Let's go back. Let's go back and say not only no open houses, which is pretty much the ABC of real estate. I mean, the worst thing that you could possibly do with the coronavirus when it comes to social distancing is have a open house, right? Because some open houses, you can have as many as 100 people through there, right? Yep. So that's crazy. But not only that, what they don't fail to mention is no face-to-face marketing, no door knocking, no things like that, which I think is probably you don't really have to say, because if people go and door knock, chances are very great they may get shot, right? So you're not going to want to knock on a door and say, "Hi, I was just wondering, when do you folks plan on moving?" Because I don't think that would be. But anyway, continue on. But let's take them one at a time.
Okay. Residential viewings must occur virtually.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, right? We've got, you go ahead, Taylor. Do you want to say something?
I was going to say, well, yeah, this is kind of the hot topic that Phil and I spoke about briefly yesterday. You know, how do you define residential viewing virtually? So does that mean that the realtor goes in and takes photos and then creates, some sort of video with just those photos, or does the realtor go into the house, Zoom or FaceTime their client, and actually walk through the property? I think it's kind of it's not defined. It's a little bit nebulous.
I agree.
Spoken like an attorney, by the way.
Nebulous, yeah. She used the big word, hang on a second, I'm Googling. Right. I'm Googling nebulous as we speak.
Yes, you should, yes.
Okay.
So Taylor's right about that.
Here's the interesting thing about that for me. Okay, residential viewings must occur virtually. Okay, so what they're saying is, really, okay, if there are pictures on the MLS, we want you to look at those first. And it has to be done virtually. But then they go back and automatically say, by the way, if that's not feasible, in other words, if you don't want to look at the pictures, which is the next one, right? If a virtual viewing is not feasible, then an in-person viewing of the property may be done by appointment. Right? So you've got all these pictures on the MLS. Nothing has changed. What happens when people buy a house is they pull it up, or they're sent something by Zillow or whatever, or they're sent something by the realtor. They click on the pictures, or they click on the 3D thing, and they look at it and they say, you know what? Now, this is worth my time to go out to see it. Nothing's changed there. However, what they're saying is it has to be virtual, and if you can't do it virtually, then you're allowed to go see it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That's saying if you can do it virtually, does that mean you can't go see it and you have to write an offer just off the pictures that you've seen? No, of course not. It says that if you see it virtually, then if you want to see it, then you're going to set an appointment and go see it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right. Real estate, it's that simple. Rick Garcia, along with Phil Nordella, also Taylor Williams, who's an attorney and a partner at Donahoe & Young. We're going over the Corona guidelines for Santa Clarita, and basically this covers all of L.A. County. Showings should be limited to serious potential buyers who are either pre-approved or have submitted a contingent offer.
Well, that's kind of silly. Did you want to take this one, Taylor?
I mean, I think this is common sense, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people are actually out there going, well, I've never been pre-qualified. I have no idea how much I can afford, but I'm just going to go see property. You're not going to get a lot of that.
Well, okay, but Phil, wouldn't this cover looky-loos? I mean, how often do people, they're really semi-interested and they just want to look at somebody's home?
Well, you're absolutely right in a normal market. In a pandemic, a pandemic, if anything, has cut down on looky-loos, because it doesn't make any sense for them to sit there and say, "What should we do today?" I know what we should do is we should actually risk our lives and the lives of our realtor just to go see property.
Go into someone else's home, exactly.
Yeah, to see what they did with the kitchen.
But, right? and I would argue with you that there are people that still are not really taking this very seriously. So we'll just leave it at that. All right. The next one is the in-person showing may only include the real estate agent and no more than 2 visitors who reside within the same household or living unit at the time. So you can't bring a family of 6 to the to a
You cannot. However, I will tell you that I have to figure out, right, because as soon as the show's over, I'm showing a very nice house in Westridge to a couple, and they have their daughter, and their daughter goes with them. And so we have to figure out just exactly how stringent that is, or can the daughter walk in with the parents and me? So it's one of those things. And if not, what is there going to be some kind of a backlash? I mean, if the realtor's there, I mean, what's going to happen? Will we be arrested? I don't know. So my guess is I'll probably go in, me, the actual couple, right, Mr. and Mrs., and the 10-year-old daughter. I think that's what's going to happen. We can actually leave her in the car and do it that way. I don't see that happening, though.
Right. One other thing to think about is a lot of times when you have a purchaser, it's not just one person or a couple. It could be an entire family. And so let's say there's 6 people. You bring 2 in, and then you have to wait a certain period of time. You sanitize the entire whatever it is, the house, and then you let 2 other people in. I mean, that's difficult. Or if you say, okay, the daughter can't come in, and you leave the daughter in the car in the parking lot. I mean, there's obviously issues that could arise there. So that's a hard one.
I mean, I would throw out the possibility that Phil and Mr. Byer goes in together, and then Mrs. Byer and the daughter may go in separately, or you could break it up 2 and 2.
Yep.
But
however,
you got to be creative.
Devil's advocate, you're talking about $1.4 million home. You're also looking at the fact that they're going to want to talk about it together, and it's like when they get back in the car and they say, "Well, do you remember this? Do you remember that?" So it's a little bit more difficult. It can be done. These are little things. It's just that you have to get creative when it comes to being able to solve some of these.
All right, 2 more. Sellers and/or tenants should temporarily leave the residence during the in-person showing in order to maintain social distancing.
Well, this hasn't changed. This is 27 years of doing. Yeah, it's like we always ask for this seller to not be in the house so that the buyers can talk freely. And now actually, when it comes to buyers talking freely, now has changed a little bit because of the Ring doorbell and all the cameras on the inside and things like that. So, but yeah, no matter what, we've always asked for the seller to.
That's your preference, Phil. But you probably had a horror story or 2 in your past where maybe the seller didn't want to leave and would basically talk people out of buying their homes.
Oh yeah, no, I've had sellers meet us at the door and say, "Let me give you a tour," and I'm like, "Oh, this is not going to end well."
All right, last guideline. During the in-person showing of the property, all social distancing protocols must be adhered to. Protective measures, including wearing gloves, cloth face covering, no touching of surfaces must be followed. I think that probably goes without saying.
You know what? When I pull up, my clients know that when they pull up, when they get out of the car, they put on their mask, they put on their gloves. And and by the time we meet at the door, I open up the door, I let them in. Obviously, there's no way that we're not going to be at one time within 6 feet. We're going to be. That's just the way it goes. And we walk through and we check out the house and we talk about it after and kind of go from there. But
the name of the show is Real Estate. It's that simple. I'm Rick Garcia, along with real estate expert Phil Nordella, and we have Taylor Williams with us. And Taylor, we had a couple of questions for you, though, and I know Phil wanted to go over those regarding some of the things that are happening with mortgages and evictions. Phil?
Yeah, it's actually fascinating, Taylor, when it comes to pausing your mortgage. And right. I know that so many different servicers and lenders have got different guidelines that they go by, and some are terrific and some are terrible. Okay, so what do you suggest when it comes to talking to your lender?
I always suggest, as an attorney, try to get everything in writing, if you can, from your lender, or even just take notes during the conversation. I have many clients who have reached out to their lender and have anywhere between 3 and 6 months of not paying their mortgage, which is great during this period of time. So they're thinking, okay, I don't have to pay the mortgage, I'm okay. They're not thinking, what happens in 3 to 6 months? Is there a lump sum that is due? Is interest accruing, and is that interest also included? The payback terms are what I think people really need to focus on. What's going to happen when you do have to reinstate your mortgage, and how is it going to be paid back? Because the last thing that you want is you don't pay your mortgage for 6 months. On month 7, not only is that month due, but then the other 6 months are due as well. And at least the commercials that I've seen and the lenders that I've spoken to, it's not very clear in terms of the payback. So I would try to get whatever agreement that you have with your lender in writing so you know exactly what to expect when you do have to start resuming your mortgage.
You are 100% correct. I've dealt with a lot of people that will call me and they'll say, what should I do? And I'll say, well, what's the guideline for your lender? And
exactly.
It's interesting that I've actually had a couple of people with the same lender give me 2 different guidelines. One said, it says I can actually not make my payment for 3 months and it will not hit my credit. But if I don't pay all 3 months of those back in full at the end of the 3 months, however long it takes for you to pay that back will actually hit your credit as a late payment. And then the same person, one of them said you can put it at the end of the loan for this lender, and another person said you cannot put it at the end of the loan. We'll actually work out some kind of payment program, but you can't put it at the end of the loan.
Exactly. So right when you're speaking to these people, write down the name of the person that you're speaking to, take notes, and at the end, if all of a sudden you do have that balloon payment or it is confusing or you don't understand, you can call us. We can absolutely help interpret that. We can even send a letter. I mean, unfortunately, a letter from a lawyer carries a little bit more weight than from just a borrower. But we can absolutely help, interpret all of that moving forward. And quite frankly, I don't think a lot of the lenders have a concrete, uniform plan as to how this is going to be paid back. So I anticipate there's going to be a lot of gray area and potentially litigation when things lift and this 3 to 6 month grace period ends.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy. And I've also heard, it's interesting, I've also heard from 3 months, you don't have to pay for 3 months. I've heard 6 months. I've heard as much as a year. And that can be a problem when it comes to lenders lending. If they automatically have to give a moratorium for a year, then they're not going to be buying some of these mortgages, and that's going to be tough for the lenders. So, and I'll get into that after. Yeah. So now, same thing with the real estate rental properties. Also, you've got there's no real evictions right now, correct? Go into that a little bit.
Correct. So there's a moratorium on evictions right now in Los Angeles County, and like you said, Santa Clarita is following. However, again, the question becomes, all right, so when this is lifted and I didn't pay my rent for 3 months, am I then having to pay those 3 months worth of rent in month 4? And your landlord can then move forward with an unlawful detainer process. They can say, hey, here's your 3-day notice. This is what you owe for the last 4 months. Pay it in 3 days. If not, we're going to go move forward with an unlawful detainer. It's kind of up in the air in terms of repayment. The building next door to mine, actually, and I live in border of Santa Monica, right on Los Angeles, the landlord was putting flyers on the building yesterday saying, hey, if you pay your rent on time, you can have a 30% reduction in your rental payment, which I thought, man, I wish my landlord would do that.
Wow. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's smart, actually. But, again, the same thing with the mortgages. You want to just make sure that you understand the repayment terms. Is it going to be paid pro rata over 12 months? Is it going to be due on month 4? Same type of thing. Unlawful detainer in terms of rentals move a lot quicker than if you're not paying your mortgage. So especially if you are a renter, or even if you're the owner of a property that has tenants, again, you just want to make everything be as crystal clear as possible on both ends. And, again, like I keep reiterating, get it in writing.
Yep. Taylor Williams is a partner at Donahoe and Young, and she specializes in real estate law, business litigation, and estate planning. And what's the website address, Taylor, in case folks would like to get a hold of you if they need need a consultation?
I want to take one tiny plug because you mentioned the estate planning, that right now especially it's such an important time to get an estate plan so that you have all of your ducks in a row, so that your property can be put into, hopefully, a trust so that you have to avoid California probate. Now's kind of the time for the emergency planning, and an estate plan is the best way to do it. How to find us, we have a website, which is DonahoeYoung.com. We also have a LinkedIn page and a Facebook, or you can call our office. We're not doing in-person consults, but we are doing them via phone and Zoom, and our phone number is 661-259-9000.
And I'm working with Taylor right now to get all my ducks in a row, as she mentioned right now, to update everything. And you'd be surprised if you pull out if you already have a living trust or a will, and you pull it out and dust it off, you might realize how outdated it is, and that's what I discovered. Or if you don't have one altogether, you want to get one. I mean, if you have any kind of real estate or any kind of property or any kind of savings, you want to do that. Thank you, Taylor. We appreciate you joining us again.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me, of course.
Okay. Real estate is that simple. I'm Rick Garcia along with Phil Nordella. We'll be right back.
If you're thinking of selling your home, have Phil Nordella come out and give you a free, no obligation property valuation. Just call 661-312-3561. It's that simple.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
You see so much when you look at your child. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. Curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions. A little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLead's founding school, SCVI combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVI has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
My name is Frank. I'm the proud owner and operator of Braveheart Termite and Pest Control. I've been doing this for over 25 years. Call me for your termite needs and concerns. If you're in real estate and need a quality home inspection, call me today. You'll have those reports same day or within 24 hours. I will help you solve your issue with what needs to be done and nothing extra. Call me so you can have freedom from termites. 661-373-2617. That's 373-2617.
Let's talk about insurance. Are your rates skyrocketing year after year? Or do you feel like you would benefit from a professional advisor that works for you? Give the great team at Voy Insurance Solutions a call. Voy works with dozens of the best insurance companies to help you obtain competitive rates and comprehensive coverage. Homeowners, auto, business, and life insurance. Voy Insurance. Right price, right coverage, right now. Mention the Phil Nordella Show and get a free $10 Starbucks card. Visit voyinsurance.com. That's voinsurance.com.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Hi, I'm Steve Cruz, and my wife and I own the local pub and grill. With 19 70-inch TVs, it's the best place in the valley to catch a game. We have a vast selection of beer, wine, and specialty cocktails to choose from, including our charity ale, where 10% of every pint we sell goes to Carousel Ranch. Our menu features classics with a flavorful twist. Come by for Taco Trivia Tuesdays at 7, Wines Day for bingo and karaoke starting at 8 p.m., and karaoke every Saturday at 9. Local Pub and Grill, right next to Bevmo on the Old Road. Support local, support community.
If you're looking for an SCV-based home design firm you can trust, look no further. Style My Space is a recognized leader in luxury vacant home staging and interior design projects for all of northern Los Angeles County since 2006. Their 5-star reputation for beautiful staging installations helps sellers realize up to 10% higher offers in as little as 1/3 the time as non-staged homes. Get an instant quote on our website at stylemyspace.com. That's stylemyspace.com.
I love it.
Right on!
Your hometown station.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rick Garcia, along with Phil Nordella. Okay, Phil, so give us the State of the Union, if you would, for real estate. I think you have some positive things to offer us.
Actually, I do. It's funny because so many people ask me, okay, look, you seem to be the guy that knows a lot about real estate. Tell us what's going on. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's interesting news, but it's good news. Okay, so let's just take, and I'm going to do this really quickly, let's just take the country as a whole. They're saying, well, real estate's down. Well, it depends on where you're at in the country, okay? So then you come to California, they say, okay, real estate seems to be struggling in certain areas, and that's because some areas you can't even get in the house to show it. So those sales are going to be down absolutely. However, you come to Santa Clarita, and our guidelines say, you know what, hey, you can actually show the inside of a house. So let's just go over, just for fun, the numbers from 2019 to 2020. So from February 1st to April 20th, and this is where I broke it off, 2019 we had 719 closed transactions in Santa Clarita. Okay, February 1st through April 20th of 2020, we had 764 transactions. So we are up fairly big time, okay? Right now we have a total of 407 active listings. We have 128 active listings under contract and 186 pending listings, which means people are out there buying real estate just as much as they've always been, okay? But we have to go a little bit deeper to really get the idea of what's happening and what's going to happen in the future. The concern that I've got is when you go into the canceled listings and on hold listings. So you got canceled listings right now. There were 79 canceled listings in Santa Clarita. Now, they may be canceled because they just decided not to sell, or they may be canceled because they're saying, you know what, I'm really thinking about it, and I don't want to actually have people come through with this virus. Okay, so let's just throw that number up there, 79. Then you actually have 85 on hold. Now, 85 on hold says, look, I don't think I want people in my house right now just for the fact that I will probably put it back on, but I'm just not doing it right now. So when you add the 85 with the 79, what does that give you? 164 listings. Now, they're not going to all hit the market at the same time because some of the canceled listings really did want to cancel. But let's just say there's 125 or 130 of those listings that are going to hit the market, plus you're going to actually have all of the listings. I've got 5 or 6 of them right now that are saying, please list me soon, but I just want to be safe. Those are all going to hit the market. So it's possible for us to go from 400 listings, and in, let's say, 90 days, when things start to turn around, we can go from 400 listings to 800 listings in 90 days.
Well, that would be good news. That would be good news. That would be very good news. It means we're going to need more agents, or agents could be busy. Phil, how can folks get a hold of you?
You know what? They can call me at 661-312-3561, or they can get on my website at philnordella.com.
We're going to have a very special guest on next week's show. Can you tell us about him?
Oh, you know what? Yes. Tarek El Moussa, who's on the hit show Flip or Flop. He's going to come out and he's going to talk to us. Well, he's not going to come out. Obviously, he's going to do it from home just like we are.
Home show.
He's going to be, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Excellent. So that'll be on next week's show. What the time and day is Real Estate Is That Simple, Phil?
I'm thinking it's every Friday at 10 a.m. KHTS.
Every Friday at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
And it will probably be another home show, although hopefully it won't be long before we're back in the studio again. Thanks, Patrick Suika, for helping us out. We appreciate that.